Right, hello and welcome everybody. My name is Nick, and as always I'm recording a Magic the Gathering video for you guys today for a channel on the Play TV. Nice to have you guys here. I want to show you guys a mid-range list, Izzet Midrange list that I came up with, which I think is quite competitive at the moment. This is also the first episode of pet decks. For those of you who don't know what a pet deck is, it's a deck that you just like and love for the cards that you include or like the strategy that you like. And as the name says, like, you pet it, you feed it new cards, you caress it and you pet it, and you tell the deck you did a great job even if it didn't. No matter the meta game, you want to jam the list. And so this series is to make those decks more competitive, and also so you guys can show me your pet deck lists and I can show you the decks that I love. And I thought it's quite a good idea. So let's see how this works, and give me feedback on whether or not you like this concept or whether or not you enjoy it. And so let's start with the deck. It's a mid-range deck, first of all. So we are not as proactive. We are more responsive and more reactive to what our opponents do. The only proactive plan that I see is kind of like, sometimes if your opponent doesn't do anything, you jam creatures and you jam a Chandra on turn 4 and you ultimate it. So that's basically all. The rest of it is more or less reactive. Let's start with the 1-drop slot. We're playing 3 copies of Opt, and this card is especially good in game 1 because as the mid-range deck is looking for answers mostly, you play some matchups where you don't want cards that you play in the main deck. For example, against the control deck, you play 3 Anger of the Gods and you don't need this card, right? So you opt it and you can put it on the bottom and draw a new card. Even if you drop a basic island or basic mountain, that's almost all the time going to be better than Anger of the Gods against the control deck. So opt really helps you to cruise through those matchups and cruise through those game 1s where you're just looking for like exactly the cards that you need. So we're playing 3 of those. Sometimes we end up cutting those after the sideboard or in the sideboard plans. Opt is very versatile, also helps you to curve out, smooth the curve, and also keep the hands that you usually can't keep. There's 1 or 2 opts in those hands with like just 2 lands. It feels very good to have an opt as an option to make your land drops and hit your land drops, right? We play 1 copy of Spell Pierce. This is exceptionally good against the control decks where you sometimes can struggle game 1. Also, Spell Pierce is good against Collected Company, which is a very, very relevant card right now in the metagame, of course. Sometimes you just hit a Thoughtseize, but even that's a good trade. So you trade your Spell Pierce for Thoughtseize, and they can't take away your Chandra. So same goes for Negate. Negate is very good against Planeswalkers and also against the artifact decks, for example. There's just a lot of stuff that is non-creature and that you can hit with it. We're playing 3 copies of Abrade, which is a card that I like a lot because it's very versatile. It's both good creature removal at instant speed for 3 damage to target creature, and also gets artifacts. This is especially good against the artifact decks running around with Golos and like a lot of cards. Imagine if you just Abrade a Mind Stone. This is very good tempo. So usually Stone Rain costs 3 mana and it's a sorcery, and you Abrade for 2 mana at instant speed a Stone Rain on the Mind Stone. That's a pretty good tempo advantage, more than sometimes, like it's better than you think sometimes. Or also the Witch's Oven is a very, very relevant card right now in the meta game still, and you have to Abrade it, so you have to get rid of this, otherwise they're gonna drain you out with a cat, and you don't want that to happen. So we're running 2 copies of Shatter Skull Smashing, which is a very solid inclusion, right? It's way better than a mountain. Sometimes you're just gonna play it as a land, but if you have enough mana, if you have like the game goes long and you go up to like 8, 9, 10 mana, you deal with like multiple threats at the same time. So imagine if you're playing against blue-white control, they're out of counter magic, but they have a Teferi and another Planeswalker on the board, maybe a Narset or a Gideon, and you can take care of those 2 with 1 blow. That's huge, and that's a big advantage. Proceeding to the 3-drop slot, like imagine these creatures, right? The Borrow and the Giant, they belong to the 2-drop slot also, because like most of the time you're gonna cast the instant side and the adventure side first before you cast the creature. And so these give you versatile 2-drop or versatile 2 CMC plays. Starting with the Brazen Borrow, this card is insane. Like, it's really so freaking good. Pretty underrated in my opinion. Petty Theft is such a great spell, and like it deals with a permanent, right? So it's just a bounce that you need to push the last points of damage through, bounce a Elder Gargaroth, for example, and then swing in with a Dragon or with a Brazen Borer that's on the board already. So this is pretty great. 3-mana 3/1 flash flying has proven to be very good in a lot of formats and across the board. It's a pretty like versatile and good card. Like it's just card quality on this. Bonecrushed Giant, we run an easy 4-off. This card is very strong. It's one of the best red mid-range creatures in general right now on the format, and is that for a reason, right? So the Stomp side, it's like it's not only a shock, it's 2 damage to any target, but there's a very important clause here. Damage can't be prevented this turn, and this takes out a lot of cards in the format actually. So sometimes they have protection spells. For example, the white deck, most of the white decks, they run outside of Beauty, or what's the name? Outside, you know what I mean? And the way protection works is that it prevents the damage. Like it's also untargetable, but you can target the face with a Stomp, and then damage can't be prevented this turn. So you attack with a red creature, for example with another Bonecrushed Giant, they block with their creature, give it protection from red. Then you Stomp their face, and the way this works is the damage can't be prevented this turn through the protection. And the creature trades and dies in combat, for example. So this is a great application. Also, 9 lives combo is still out there. 9 lives is a 3-mana enchantment, and it prevents damage and puts counters on the enchantment so you don't die and you don't lose. Bonecrushed Giant takes care of that, or like the Stomp takes care of that as well. Also 3-mana 4/3 is a very good rate, and plus with the upside that people that want to target it, they take 2 damage in the process when they want to remove it, and the damage really adds up. We're going to come to that later as well. So yeah, those adventure creatures are like really the mid-range core of this deck. The Supreme Will, I'm running a 1-off Supreme Will. I ran Thassa's Intervention before, and Thassa's Intervention outscales Supreme Will very fast. At 4 mana, basically it outscales it, but at 3 mana Supreme Will is straight up better. And I figured that the format is like, it's very fast, and you usually want to make the spells as cheap as possible. And if I get a better rate at 3 mana for the Supreme Will than I would get at 4 mana for the Thassa's Intervention, I think the decision is very clear that you want to play the Supreme Will. At least for me, it's the case. It's both counter magic and card advantage or card selection, which is pretty relevant in a lot of matchups, and gives you a versatility plus. So pretty good inclusion. That's why I decided to run Supreme Will over Thassa's Intervention. I'm playing 3 Anger of the Gods main deck. This is very, very solid, and like we just need it. You can make a case for playing 1 Sweltering Suns maybe, but I would recommend you to run at least 2 Anger of the Gods in a main deck. It's the clause that it exiles the creature this turn. The turn it dies is very relevant. It's a replacement effect as well, so it exiles it instead. So if a creature would die that has a effect when it dies, for example Midnight Reaper, like you're playing against Giant Sacrifice or Rakdos Sacrifice, and they don't have another sacrifice outlet, and they have a Midnight Reaper on the board, you sweep the board and they don't get to draw any card. Like it's pretty insane. Imagine you take care of their Witch's Oven with the Abrade. Next turn they jam Midnight Reaper, and you Anger of Gods the full board, and they don't get to draw like a single card. Usually they draw 3 or 4 cards. That's pretty busted and can lead to a really early concession sometimes. Anger of the Gods is really good also against Arcanist decks, and you always want to play this. Very solid inclusion, and we need it. Like you need this card. Is one of the best cards on the deck as well. Like against a lot of decks, you face a lot of creature decks right now on the format as well. We run 4 copies of Ionize, which is quite surprising actually, because like the card doesn't seem that good, but it's like silently pretty strong. The damage really adds up in my experience. So like you counter the stuff, it doesn't have any limiting clause, so it counters really a spell, like no matter the cost, no matter if it's a non-creature spell, right, or if it's a creature, if it's an artifact, doesn't matter. Ionize is gonna take care of it. Plus it deals those 2 damage, and they seem so irrelevant, but they are actually not, let me tell you, because the damage really adds up. Like sometimes I play games and I haven't done anything, like I just took care of their stuff and I ionized some of their stuff, and then they have a shock land, they have a Thoughtseize maybe, and suddenly they had 12 life, or even a 10 after you ionized 1 or 2 times. And this gives you like the reach that you need like in the meantime, so you don't even have to worry about it. You just counter the spell and suddenly they go low on life. So that's pretty cool, and it really adds up the damage. We're running 2 copies of Behold the Multiverse. So this is a card we need when we're at parity. So the way this deck works, like most of the mid-range decks, they play answers, and most of them, or some of them, are 1-for-1, right? So we spell pierce their spell, it's 1-for-1 trade. We negate their spell, we abrade their creature, we abrade their artifact, so that's all 1-for-1. Like these are 2-for-1s, but like a lot of cards that we have are 1-for-1 trades, or we want to get ahead in card advantage, and so we have to refill our hand at some point. And Behold the Multiverse does a great job in this, especially in combination with Chandra. So think about this: the Foretell costs you 2 mana of any color and not blue. So you can, for example, play Chandra Torture Defiance, which is the next card we're going to talk about, +1, add 2 red, and in the same turn also foretell the Behold the Multiverse. And that's a really good mana economic spell. Okay, so Chandra Torture Defiance, the next card we want to talk about, is friggin' busted. So this is one of the best red planeswalkers, or maybe the best red planeswalker by a decent margin right now in the format for sure. It gives you card advantage, it ramps you, it deals with creatures on the board. The emblem is game winning. So this is one of the proactive game plans that you have, that you jam a Chandra Torture Defiance, you make sure the board is empty with Anger of the Gods and like with the removal spells, and then you just counter everything else they have, and you pick up the Chandra to 7, you ultimate the Chandra, and then the game is going to be over. Dealing 5 damage every time you cast a spell, that's just really good, and one of the proactive things this deck can do. So you're playing 3 of those. You can try a 4th one, but I had the experience that you get flooded on Chandras very fast. So this card is like not good in multiples in my opinion. So I think 3 is the number to go. Proceeding to the 5-drop slot, we have Glorybringer, which is one of my favorite cards in general. Like, I'm a big fan of dragons, it's my favorite archetype, and my favorite creature, tribal, and I know I'm not the only one around, so I know that, guys. There are a lot of dragon aficionados out there, and so this is for you guys. Glorybringer is so decent. It's very good right now because it deals with creatures. It's very bad in control deck against control decks actually, so it doesn't seem so, right? Because it's got haste and you can attack planeswalkers. But imagine that Teferi goes up to 5 loyalty when it upticks once. So they play the 5 mana Teferi, they uptick, they draw a card, they untap 2. So the chance that the Glorybringer resolves is already lower. And then if you resolve it and you swing it at Teferi, it goes to 1, and that's your whole turn. That's not that good because like they can untap, they draw another card, they untap another 2 lands, and the chance that they deal with the Glorybringer is very high. So do not underestimate the Glorybringer in creature matchups. It's insanely good. But do not overestimate it against control decks because it can really be a trap. We run a one-off Goldspan Dragon, which is not a trap in control matchups. This is very good in control because it gives you the mana advantage. So you can jam a Goldspan Dragon, swing in for 4 on the Teferi, but then you have mana up, so you can answer what they want to do to the Goldspan Dragon, right? So this is very much better in these kind of matchups. So Goldspan Dragon is very strong. I'm debating whether or not I want a second one of those, but I'm not sure what to cut, honestly. For that reason, we play a solid one-off. I was happy with the one-off actually, so that's my way to go. Proceeding, so we're playing 2 copies of Shark Typhoon, which is like a really good slam. It's a slam dunk, man. Like, you cycle this for 3, like you have 5 mana, you cycle this, make a 3/3 flyer and draw a card at instant speed, so that's already pretty sweet. And imagine if you just jam the 6 mana side of it, or like you jam a Shark Typhoon, the game is going to be taken over so very fast. We all know that, so playing 2 off is pretty nice. You can run more of those, but like then you have to go shorter on the other answers, and so I was happy with the 2 off. I'm also running a 1-off Sublime Epiphany, which is, wow, just really freaking strong. Like, it gets better and better the better creatures you have, because like the clause that you can copy a creature that you control, the target creature that you control, is only very good if you have creatures that you can copy, right? So the control decks, like the really control decks, they can't play it because like they sometimes just have a shark, and they can't even guarantee that they have a shark. But we have 3 Glorybringers, we have a Goldspan Dragon, and we have Bonecrusher Giants, Brazen Borrowers, so this gets very strong in our deck. So this is the Historic Cryptic Command, and we play a 1-off. To the land base, I was running Snow before. I was running Snow and Frostbites, but it ended up being like just too irrelevant and like too narrow to hit it. So Right now I'm playing one Castle Ventress. I already tried two also, which is perfectly fine, but now I split it, so I go one Castle Ventress and then one Crawling Barons. Crawling Barons is pretty strong, and the way I figured it out is like our deck doesn't have an answer to it, so I hope we can dodge the matchups that for the people that play Crawling Barons, because this is a creature that is still a land, and of course when it's like a 2/2 we can still abrade it, or but later in the game it gets very, very awkward and very difficult to deal with because we can't even bounce it. So Brazen Borer and a lot of other cards in the format, they bounce non-land permanents and they deal with non-land permanents, but guess what? The Crawling Barons is still a land even if it's a creature. And so this is very difficult to deal with in our deck, and it is good against opposing Crawling Barons also, if that makes sense to you. Yeah, I decided to run it over second Castle Ventress because it gives you value as well, but we don't want to exaggerate on utility lands in this kind of strategy. We're running 2 Temples of Epiphany, obviously pretty solid in a slow deck, and we are not that fast, so we're just playing 2 of those. Helps us to scry and helps us to keep a 5-lander. Sometimes, like, imagine if you have Temple Epiphany, 4 other lands, and maybe a Chandra and a Brazen Borrower. So this hand is like certainly keepable because you can scry 1 more land away, and with other lands, like if you have a 5-lander and a Chandra and a Brazen Borrower, without the scry land or with any other utility land, kind of gets hard. It's gonna be a flooded match. I can tell you that much. So we're playing 1 Soulful Falls, 5 basic islands, 5 basic mountains, so we can turn it on reliably. 4 Steam Winds and a 4 River Glide Pathway. So pretty straightforward mana base actually. It's 23 lands plus the 2 smashings, which is like absolutely nice rate. For me, this has worked out pretty good. For the sideboard, so let's take a look at that. We play 4 of Grafdigger's Cage, and this card is right now absolutely great. So our deck does not get affected at all by the Grafdigger's Cage, so we can absolutely run 4 of those and bring them in whenever we like. So it's a pretty straightforward game plan against Arcanist decks, against the Giant Sacrifice strategies, against the Sacrifice strategies in general. Sometimes if they rely very hard on Collected Company, you can even bring in a Grafdigger's Cage or 2 against a Collected Company. Don't exaggerate it. Don't play 4 against just 1 company. That's overkill, certainly, but 1 or 2 can be fine if you feel the need for it, and if you feel that's the only card you can lose to and you deal with everything else very cleanly. You can do that against the Collected Company as well, but in general, it's like a 4-off against Goblins, it's a 4-off against Giant Sacrifice, and it's a 4-off against Dreadhorde Arcanist, and it performs pretty damn good. We're playing an extra copy of Negate as well. This is good against control decks. Like usually how the deck works is it beats creature decks very consistently, and against control decks you struggle in game 1 usually, but after sideboarding you have a pretty good suit against the control decks as well. Yeah, with extra copy of Negate as I said already, and 2 Search for Escantas for the hard grind. Like usually the person that resolves one of those first in a control matchup has a good edge and has a great edge to win the game. We're playing 1 extra copy of a Braid, so we can go up to a full 4-off. This is especially good against sacrifice strategies because the Witch's Oven is really good, and you have to deal with it. Like, it sounds strange that you pay 2 mana, deal with just 1 combo piece of them, but it's a very important one. It's one of the most important combo pieces they have in the entire deck, and a Braid also deals with the Mayhem Devil, so this is pretty crucial. A Braid's just strong. It's both versatile and powerful, so I'm not hesitating to bring in a 4th copy of a Braid against certain decks. We're running 1 copy of Mystical Dispute, especially good against mono blue tempo, obviously, but also against all the blue-based control strategies. And like as I said, after sideboarding, we want to be able to board out all the creature removal and bring in all the counter magic and like blue stuff hate and value planeswalkers and like value generators. So such as Narset, Part of Wales, which is the next card we want to talk about. So Narset is like an all-star against control decks, has always been and will always be, I guess, through all formats. Narset's taking over a lot of decks. The clause that opponents can't draw more than 1 card each turn is like, in a control mirror, it's crazy good. So you really want to jam those as early as possible. So the person that resolves a Narset, Part of Wales has a great edge. Like same as the Escanta. Like Narset is doing a similar job, and like maybe even a better job, because they can't even they can cycle one card in your turn, but like it really helps to beat control decks. You're playing one copy of Storm's Wrath. The reason being, there's a lot of angel decks out there, and the angels, they have 4 toughness, and like we play Anger of the Gods in our main deck, and we have to control the board early on, so we have answer to 4 toughness, which in the form of Chandra, in the form of Glorybringer. Before that, we have to really bounce stuff and like maybe 2-for-1 ourselves with a Bonecrusher Giant sometimes, like really just to kill one threat. We have to blast 2 Stomps on it. And after sideboarding to make this interaction a little bit more easy, you play just one copy of Storm's Wrath. It's not only good against these decks, it's also good against Gruul Aggro actually. It has a lot of other applications. So keep in mind that this also hits Planeswalkers, so it hits your own Planeswalkers as well, but also opposing Planeswalkers. And for example, there's a Gruul Midrange deck out there, and like if they have Chandra on the board, they have a Scavenging Ooze, and they also have a Mammoth, for example, you just run one Storm's Wrath and it's 3-for-1 for you. And this can be really, really good. And so we run 2 copies of Chandra Awakened Inferno, which is a control killer because it can't be countered as well. And you uptick, and like they have a hard time dealing with it. Of course, they have cast out and stuff, but one uptick is already really dangerous for them. So they don't like, it puts a clock immediately on them. So they have to act, and they can't like outgrind you and outdraw you in 20 turns because they're gonna take damage. And if you uptick this twice or even a 3rd time, it's gonna be pretty sweet. Also, it has a like mini sweeper on it. So if you -3, deal 3 damage, and then you have like you untap -3 to Chandra plus Anger of the Gods, can board wipe for 6 damage, and that's usually gets really everything there is. So Chandra is pretty strong, and especially against the control decks, like especially against blue and white control, you want at least 2 Chandra Awakened Inferno to beat them. So we play a 1-off Entrancing Melody as well in the sideboard. This is especially good and exceptionally good against the Lurrus Aura strategies, against Orzhov and Azorius. You're gonna have a hard time dealing with those, like with almost any deck, because if they have a nut draw, it gets really, really difficult. Of course, you play a lot of main deck answers already to this kind of strategy, but we really want to enhance our chances and steal one of their creatures, just yoink it over, and then some of the auras are gonna fall off because they are enchant creature you control, but that doesn't matter. Like you steal a 12-14 and becomes maybe like a 8-10 or something, but that's still good enough. And the main reason also being keeping them off of the card draw, so you can out sustain them at some point. Yeah, so that's the deck. As I said, I have been very successful with it. I'm playing it on Mythic. At first glance, I had just 50% win percentage, but the last 22 games I played, I went 17-5, which is like 77% win rate. So it's a pretty good rate for a deck like this. So like, this deck has run through several iterations of changing, has run through a lot of change, and I'm pretty happy to present you this version now, which I think is right now quite competitive and quite good. So give it a try, and we are gonna run into some gameplay without any further ado. Alright, we're playing against a chippy stick. We're definitely gonna play first here. Okay, so this hand is a little bit trappy because this comes tapped and this... Okay, so we can shock ourselves with this. So we play Castle Ventress turn 1. Alright, sure. Let's keep it around. Playing the castle tapped. Alright, so that's a green creature deck. This should be a very good matchup actually, overall. Let's see if we can make it true. I'm definitely gonna want red here, so I guess it's also fine to play the pathway. So they have a really slow start. Or it's still Selesnya midrange, so that's an interesting one. That's definitely an interesting matchup. Pretty cool. It's nice that we get to play this. Sure. Okay, so my plan is to cycle now. Turn 3 I hold up Ionize, and turn 4 I jam the Chandra, I think. Let's just cycle this. Opt, that's fine, because we need more lands also. So we hold up Ionize, we can also opt end of turn, depending on what they do. I think this could be nice. Alright. If they don't have another land drop, I'm definitely gonna... Alright, sure, so they don't have another land, I'm definitely going to Anger of the Gods here. And that's gonna be nice, so... Let's see if we can find an untapped red source, another Anger of the Gods. Like, do we really want that? I guess not. I think I'm looking more for land drops. We already have one Anger, we're gonna play that next turn. And they have a lot of creatures which the Anger doesn't hit. Alright, beautiful. I think I'm even shocking myself, so I can opt to. So that should be a really... Wow, this should be a fucking blowout for them. So like they developed their Llanowar elves to cast cards, and now they can't even cast anything. Yeah, that's gonna die. So next turn we can Chandra. We could keep Behold, but I think we don't. I think we just wanna find like Glorybringers. It's good to find them though. Like we could keep it, but I don't think so. Yeah, Goldspan Dragon, that's a little bit better. Very nice. So in this case, we could even Goldspan Dragon right now. We could Goldspan Dragon and then abrade the Scavenging Ooze. Cause like, yeah, but I'm not gonna do it. I think I'm gonna, because they don't have the second white source, so even if they have Skyclave Apparition, it's still fine. If they have Skyclave Apparition and they hit the Chandra, that's pretty strong because we get a 4/4, right? And they need a second white source and they need to have the Skyclave Apparition. So I think they're pretty close to scooping here. Sure. Oh my gosh, yeah. So we're so far ahead right now. Plus Goldspan Dragon, so we can't cast Glorybringer and the Goldspan Dragon here. Could also just Glorybringer it, to be honest, but I think I like the mana advantage more, so it's just so good. We also have the Abrade up still. So now we have a Abrade up. They could have the 1/3, which deals with the Glorybringer for now. Alright, so yeah, that's just perfect. So they play into our cards here. You're gonna kill that now. And that's too good, yeah. So because now, yeah, also we can run Goldspan Dragon and have the Ionize up now. Alright. I don't know if the Storm's Wrath is actually good. I think it is, right? Negate, like let's run all the Abrades. I think I'm cutting the Negate. I guess you don't need the opt also. Could go Entrancing Melody, actually. I mean, that's pretty grindy, right? So we're playing now 4 board wipes. Let's play 4 board wipes and just... How good is that Entrancing Melody? I think it's fine. I think it's actually fine. But maybe not even necessary. What are we stealing? Like, we need 5 mana to answer this. Maybe Spell Pierce is not good enough. What happens if we do this? What can we play? We can play 3 cards. Search for Skarta. It's also maybe just too slow. Let's run one opt. Let's run an Entrancing Melody because it's an answer, right? It's just an answer, and then we can play 1 cage. I think it's worth it. Let's run 2 opts so we can keep the hands. Right, so this is a little bit slow. Just a little bit slow, but if we can cycle Shark Typhoon turn 2. Hopefully find a board wipe. So this hand gets only good if you find a board wipe, I think. But it's like, it's good enough to keep. Alright, hopefully we can draw a cheap answer to that. Not so far. Let's lead on Mountain, so that's like, and indicates shock or something. Setting some stops. Just to deceive them a little bit. Wow, like I really hope we can find some sort of answer next turn. Wow. Holy like, I think it's a... I don't know what they still have in hand, but it's like, I'm really wondering about this keep. We draw the anger. That's so insanely good. That's so insanely good. Okay, so let's play island. Oh, I just hope they don't jam a big drop here. Maybe Gargaroth or something would be pretty awkward to deal with. Okay, so this is Collected Company, pretty sure. Which is actually fine because we can counter that. And we will do that for sure. We could also just play Anger of the Gods. Because if they want to company, they can company. What do I do against the Questing Beast otherwise? Just Chandra it down. I think it's fine to just cast the Anger of the Gods. Even if they find like a Lovestruck Beast, they're not even guaranteed that they can... Ah, sure, they can do it like that. Obviously. That's great because we have another Anger. So let's hope they just pump up the Aspirant here. Okay, they make a 6/6, which is a wise choice here actually. It's a wise choice. Dang it. Alright, so the Storm's Wrath is gonna come in handy next turn. We can't cast it now, but we first have to wipe the board. We can make a 2/2 here, but we have to... I think we just have to Anger of the Gods one more time. Because Chandra deals with that, so let's hope... Okay. Now we could Storm's Wrath, which would be pretty good actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if they have the Great Henge, they can play it. That sucks. But we are a little bit behind on tempo here. If we Chandra down tick, we have to deal with the 1/1, so the Lost Rupees can attack. We could also kill this and then play the Bone Crusher Giant. But then they attack with a 5 power creep, so we can't do that actually, really, I don't think. Yeah, I guess we just have to Storm's Wrath here to deal with their board. And now if they don't have a 1/1, the Lost Rock Beast is gonna be useless for some time, at least. Yeah, that's actually okay. So now we can play Chandra and downtick on the Harbinger. Yeah, I think this is what we should do. Let's hope they don't find a 1/1, but it's like they don't have a lot of 1/1s. That's a 1/1, so that's a real problem. Now Chandra dies. They put down another 5/5. Now we have to kill the 1/1 again. Okay, so how do we want to approach this? I think we just wanna... I think we just kill the 1/1. And then we pass. If they play another 1/1, maybe we can either kill it and opt. Also we can Ionize their big threat. Also we can make a 1/1 Shark Typhoon, something like that. So this leaves us the most options, I think. Okay, so now we have to decide what we want to do. I think we're gonna make a 1/1 Shark Typhoon, like a 1/1 Shark. Just blocks, pretty good. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that's 6. Now we can even play this guy and hold up Ionize. Little Shark has to go all the distance down to 0 life. Okay, Collected Company, so that's not gonna happen here. Oh, that might be game now. That's so strong. Okay, so we block here. Why do they find all these 1/1s? Ooh, Brazen Borrow, okay. So let's do that now so we don't forget it. And now I guess we leave those open. At some point they have to draw lands. Like it's impossible. They drew only 4 lands, nothing else. At some point they have to find any land. They're having top deck after top deck. Like they top decked only gas and only like the right gas also, with all their 1/1s and stuff. Do they have another company? It's like they already have 2. Already had 2. If they have a third one, that would be a nutty draw. They kept the 3 Llanowar elves in the hand also. Alright, so they seem to think and consider here their options. Might be a tough choice. Like if they have, for example, like the collected company, the third one, do they play it now? Do they wait? Do they hesitate? Do they have a like I think maybe they have a hench or something and they are like, should I play it? Is there counter magic up? Maybe they just timed out. Maybe just left for restroom, bathroom. Everything is possible. Okay, so they seem to use all their timeouts. This could also, like, sure, it's not likely, but sometimes this could also be a play or like a maneuver, right? So they time out. So I think they're not there, and then I flash in my borrower, and then they collect the company me. So I want to be very, very careful with what I do here. I will definitely opt, so that's gonna happen for sure. Alright. Got the W in. Very sweet. Climbing from 888 to 555. Beating Selesnya Company, which is a pretty solid meta deck. So that's very good. That's really rewarding here, actually. Alright. Okay, opponent goes first. I mean, we already have the Anger of the Gods, but is that ever good enough? I think I'm gonna keep it, actually. The Anger is so good in this matchup. Okay, they go off in turn 1, that's brutal. But we have 3 Abrades in the main deck. So definitely wouldn't I definitely don't want another land here. That's for sure. Okay, they shock in Butcher. Pretty hot. This card is hot here. Another land. Yeah, I think we're gonna have a bad time now. Let's hope they commit something here. They have to put creatures on the board. Maybe that's just Rakdos. Yeah, we definitely want him to jam something. Okay. I mean, we're taking 3. Yeah, we have to play Anger of the Gods here. There's just no way around it, really. And they didn't have a land drop. Okay, so that's worth mentioning. They're gonna sacrifice it with a Butcher. We take 3 down to 14. But the Priest gets exiled, at the very least. Now they found a land. Volstrider. Where's my Anger now? Dang it. But I mean, I guess... Ooh, what a draw. Pretty good. Pretty good draw, actually. Okay, so we can abrade the oven, bounce the Volstrider. They get another 1/1 out of it, but you know, what can you do, right? I guess I could wait with that also. It doesn't matter, I can pass. Okay, yeah, I don't want to take the damage actually, to be honest. And now we bounce. If you just replay it, that would be best case scenario, I guess. A Mayhem Devil, sure. Okay, it's pretty nice. Maybe just do that. I don't think playing Goldspan Dragon is just good enough. I think I'm just killing this Mayhem Devil here. So next turn I have land plus Goldspan plus Ionize, so that's way better. Also clocks them hard. Like if they play the 3-drop now, Dang it. I hate this butcher here. Maybe I can find a glory bringer. Oh, that's not a glory bringer. Ah, damn. Oh, this butcher is so annoying right now because like the dragon can't even block it. If I block it with the dragon, they shoot it, so it trades with the dragon. It can't do that really. But also, can I shock myself? Go down to 10? That's pretty interesting point here right now in the game. There's no way I can draw a card. Maybe I just play Temple tapped. Oh, Anger of the Gods. Okay, that's an answer. Okay, in this case I'm gonna play the gold span and attack. Because even if it connects, like they deal 3. I'm going pretty low. That's unfortunate, but other than that, they're in pretty bad shape. And the Wall Strider also gets exiled if they plan on, yeah. So you play that. I hope they don't have like what? I don't even know. We could go down to 6. That's also a problem because they can bring it back. Like we are running low on life, so that's the only problem. But they are also at 13. Oh shit! I should have. Okay, so they go face. So they make. I think they make a mistake here. I think they should kill the gold span dragon, actually, because if they shoot 3 to the gold span, we should have attacked first for sure here. But them swinging face is not a good sign. So they scry everything. Like they're gonna find the card they need because they can scry so oftentimes. Can they scry 4? Holy shit. That's a lot. That's a lot of scry. Okay, so now we go on top. Seems like, okay, so they have cat activation ready. Four plus 3 is 7 plus 2. So we have to counter a spell here. We have to counter one spell and flash in the borrow, then we have it. Pretty close game here. Okay, let's hope they don't double spell or something. Okay, that's great. That's just exactly what we needed here. Now they... Oh no, they go to 1! I was miscalculating. Actually. Okay, so definitely flashed it in. Just 1 damage. Come on. Yep, that does it. Sweet, so taking them down game 1 is very huge because post sideboard is not gonna get better for them. Taking out Negate, taking out Spell Pierce, bringing in 4 cages, I guess. 1 Abrade. We can cut maybe the Opt. Supreme Will maybe also. Yeah, this is all pretty sweet. How about Storm's Wrath? I don't think it's all that necessary, but I might be mistaken here. Of course, like it's of course a board wipe, which is never bad against these decks. It's just never bad, right? Maybe we just get rid of the Opts now. Cause like all the cards are good now. Every single card is fine. Yeah, really, mostly all the draws. Like we have to get rid of their cage because these creatures, they can be bad if they have cage. So maybe I wanna be siding those out, but for that they are too good also, I think. Spell Pierce can just be so dead, but like we have to deal with the butchers. I think it's a good configuration. Like we don't need the Opts in this matchup, I don't think, because we have nothing to scry down, and then we spend 1 mana to do what? To like, it's like we want the card anyways. Sometimes you don't want lands in the late game, so Opt has some more upside. But I think, ooh yeah, I'm definitely keeping this hand here. Thoughtseizers. Yeah, you can take 1 anger. I got another one, boy. Maybe they have another Thoughtseize too, though. That would be fun. Abrade. Okay, Ionize. Not now, I think. I think I'm looking for... Although it's not bad, but I think I'm looking for a braid for the cage more than anything else. Not for the cage, but for the oven, right? You get it. You get what I said. Right, guys? So we can go... I don't want to play this island because it's a card they don't know about. They know about those four. And I think it doesn't cost me anything to not play the island right now. I could bounce the oven here. I mean, it's just 1 mana, so it sometimes will not matter. Yeah, I think I'm gonna bounce that now. They will sacrifice it in response anyways. Do I want to bounce the oven? I think I do. I mean, if they don't sack in response, they're just stupid. But I have to force them to make mistakes also. Okay. It's like it's not the best of all plays, but like I don't have another play to do, so it's fine. Okay, I guess now we made it to the point where I can't do that any longer. So I guess I'm passing. I mean, I really like me some Bone Crusher Giants, and I think they have Claim the Firstborn still in their deck. So I want to make it a little bit harder for them. Okay, so now I can actually kill it. I don't know if they intended this. I think it's good enough to just kill this. Now they need another creature to make more food. Okay, so they have Midnight Reaper. I'm very sad that I don't have found any upgrades for the Witch's Oven yet. Do I need another red source? Don't think so, I can't afford it. I could play Bone Crusher Giant just as a removal spell for the Midnight Reaper here. They will obviously sacrifice it in response. Could play Anger of the Gods. But this also hits the... Right now I don't have any answer to a Mayhem Devil, which is problematic a little bit. And I guess I let them only have 1 Oven activation, so I'm gonna pass the turn to them. And kill the Midnight Reaper in response here. I could play a Bone Crusher Giant, but it's like... Do they have Claim the Firstborn maybe? I think it's a little bit... It's a little bit risky. And here I can also, like, I have 2 options now. I can Brazen Borrower, and I also can Bone Crusher Giant. Found land number 5 already. Okay, so that's a Mayhem Devil. Pretty sure I will Anger of the Gods that very soon. Yeah, I'm just gonna use this like as like a bad shock. Because they're gonna sack it away, they're gonna draw a card, they D1 damage, but overall I have to get rid of this Midnight Reaper. It's one of the strongest cards here in the matchup, I think. They have another oven. Damn it. Pretty good. Okay, but this is also good because we can now do this. Mayhem Devil is too scary, so we can't keep it on the board. So I'm gonna Anger of the Gods. They do us some shenanigans here. And then I will foretell the Behold. I should be able to do this in response here. Okay, so let's do it in response. Just because, why not? And now they have to sacrifice the Familiar, right? Okay, good. So sometimes they mess it up and then they let the cat get burned by the fire and then it's gone forever. But this is very strong, very, very strong. So we die very quickly here by the cat and double oven. So let's hope that we can find an answer to this very, very soon. Or another Mayhem Devil. So I'm not sure if we can make it now in time. That might just be too much damage now. That might just be too much damage. Okay, so I don't think this matters. Let's try to find Abrades and Glorybringers. Okay, we can't keep... Well, Guess we also have to deal with the Giganta here. And Ionize does that. Okay, we might be in trouble here actually. So we have 4 mana. What do we want to find actually? Mayhem Devil has to die, really. Mayhem Devil really has to die. Maybe at some point we can find something for the Giganta. Bounce it and these kind of things. But here we have... That's pretty good. Okay, so that's what we wanted to see actually. Chandra kill the Mayhem Devil. Chandra uptick kill Oven. That's not gonna work. Yeah, it's sad, but we have to trade the Chandra for the Mayhem Devil, I think. Right here, right now. It's very sad that we have to do that. Next turn we can kill 1 Oven. In the meantime, making some... Like, we have to maybe jump with the Crawling Barons at some point, something like that. But that's just way too much damage. Like, we die too quickly if this is all on the board. Like, we could also just abrade Mayhem Devil and then... But then what, right? We need the abrade for the Oven, I'm pretty sure. Like, if we can find another abrade... How is this looking? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, so we're not gonna scry in our upkeep. They're gonna be jamming the big one. Oh, another familiar and the big one. This is getting really dicey actually. If you find exactly a braid. Okay, that's a start. That's actually a start. So we have to abrade 1 Oven right here, right now. But we don't have much time. Because this is also 2 foods. But I don't think they're gonna sack it for food, right? But maybe they do. And now we just play Bone Crusher Giant. And after turn they sack their last cat. And then we bounce the Giganta. Okay, so what do we need now? I think we have to scry in our upkeep and find another abrade. They untap, we are down to 2 life now. Can swing. Yeah, I think we are just dead, so that's... It's just a little bit, we're just a little bit too slow and 2 Ovens were too good here. I think they just double swing here all the time. Why do they even do this? Like, they could just let it happen, let it die, sacrifice the Giganta, and bring back the cat. We have to find a braid here. I'm thinking of Spell Pierce actually. Really thinking about the Spell Pierce as an extra answer to the Oven, but like... Grafdigger's Cage, I think that's enough. That should be just enough answers. I think it's fine. Let's run it back. Yeah, I really like what I see. I mean, we have the abrade already and paired with a couple of other stuff. Like, they could Thoughtseize the abrade away and the hand gets pretty bad suddenly. But 4 cages, so should be fine. I don't want another Ionize, I don't think. Turn 2 abrade, turn 3 Ionize, turn 4 Ionize. It's also not too bad, right? Not too shabby. I mean, it depends on what they have, but I think it's just in general a little bit too slow for the matchup. Because they double spell, right? Okay, we found another one, so I'm really glad that I just bottomed that other Ionize. So they got Blood Crypt tapped, so that means no Thoughtseize, nothing. Which is Oven, so perfect target for our braid. I'm definitely killing that right now. And now it's pretty sweet, so like for that slow start, it's pretty good now for us. Yeah, let's Ionize. Like we could also just go ahead and play the Giant, but it's not guaranteed to be good. Let's put it this way. Wow. Okay. Should we just Bone Crusher their face? Will we play Bone Crusher Giant next turn? The problem is I think they have like a lot of Claim the Firstborns in hand. And if I decide against it, I might regret this. I don't think it's worth it actually. I just don't think it's worth it. Now we have Glorybringer, so that's a really good one because they can't steal it with a Claim the Firstborn. Woe Strider, definitely want to counter that. We could just also Bone Crusher Giant it. And I guess we're gonna do that. So we don't have to waste a counter spell here. You're far away from escaping it or anything. So now I'm actually glad that I kept the Bone Crusher Giant around. Scrying top. I don't know what that means. That maybe means Thoughtseize. Like it could mean Thoughtseize, right? It's got some likelihood at least. Not gonna run out the Glorybringer yet here. It's like I just want to counter the 5/5 or see what they do. Dreadhorde Butcher, okay. Could either 1 damage or 3 damage. I guess it's fun to just kill it. What else do you have? Priest of Forgotten Gods. That's absolutely no problem. Absolutely no problem. Like, not at all. I'm really missing a land drop here, actually. Problem is I don't know what to do with this 5/5, so I think I'm just passing. Just play the Giganta, please. Maybe I didn't even play the Giganta now. Please play it, okay, thank you. So now I can finally go off the Ionize. Four cards. They have to exile 4 other cards. Let's play Bone Crusher Giant, hold up Ionize. Have another Woe Strider. I want to counter that. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I want to counter that. Almost for sure here. So now they have enough cards to escape the Woe Strider, but we have another Ionize. Okay, Mayhem Devil. Damn it. Okay. I guess we should have attacked and Glorybringer down the Priest. That would have been a nice play here. That would have been a correct line. Damn it. Now I have to pass. And if they find anything else, then escaping these, I have a bad time. Like, if they escape it and I can Ionize it, would be cool, but yeah, I can't do anything about that. Maybe now they sack 2 of those and they want to escape, then well, okay, now I'm gonna Ionize because Bone Crusher Giant is gonna die, and now they have free fodder, so I don't want to give them the free fodder. And I can deal with the Woe Strider actually, so but they just have to sack this Mayhem Devil. And now I think we just play Glorybringer after Glorybringer. Just gonna get rid of the Priest. Could attack with the Bone Crusher too. Guess I'm getting rid of the Priest. Yep, I have to. Now the Priest got really scary actually. They don't even do it. Holy cow. How did they not even do that? Down to 6 life. Okay, so now they escape Woe Strider. We have a Glorybringer. They are pretty low. I guess we could even just pass a turn, hold up the shark from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, make a 4/4. They can sack 3 creatures. Now they swing for 6, so we go down to 9. But I guess my best bet is to Shark Typhoon for a big shark and then try to finish them off next turn. We just have to survive this turn. That will be like the key to winning this matchup. It's a really stunning matchup, so it's pretty cool. They draw a card, take 2 damage. So they die to Glorybringer already. Okay, full swing, right? Okay, so we do this for Axis 4. Find a Bone Crusher. And then we just block. See what happens. Can they deal 9 damage, or is the Glorybringer just gonna kill them? I don't think they have enough damage, man. Actually, as I think about it. Okay, so now they're really going after the Glorybringer, but they have another 4/4 to deal with. They should have resolved the damage first. I mean, somehow. That maybe means they have a Claim the Firstborn for the 4/4. So glad that it's post-combat here. What are they doing? Alright. I think you're gonna show them the other Glorybringer too, right? Just as a bigger flex then. GG, we got there. So we have a nice streak actually. So Rector's Midrange, that's a pretty good meta deck, and we absolutely have the tools to beat those decks. So for Grafdigger's Cage, we didn't even draw 1, and we still got them with all the Abrades. Like 4 Abrades against Rector's Sacrifice, that's very strong, and also 3 Angers. I showed you Selesnya Company and Rector's Sacrifice, and stay tuned. Maybe we make more episodes of pet decks. And for the Glory Banger pet deck, I can absolutely only say I love it, and I hope you do it too. Craft it if you have the gems. Check it out if you have the cards for it, and tell me what you think. Tell me of your opinion. I think it's pretty strong right now, and if you want to climb through Mythic like Diamond, wow, that's gonna be easy, because like everybody plays creature decks, and you shoot them Anger of the Gods, and they're basically gonna scoop. A lot of times you get free wins with Anger of the Gods. And other than that, if you have fun in playing mid-range strategies and like thinking turn after turn, play a fair deck and fair magic, which is like oftentimes only for the heads. But if you're a head, man, you're gonna love this deck. It's pretty insane. Like it plays like a real mid-range deck. Every card matters, every decision matters. It's pretty cool. Something is at stake all the time. So yeah, I'm a huge fan. I hope you enjoy the video content as well. Make sure to leave us a like. And yeah, thanks. See you around. Goodbye.